Good day to you all. My name is Sarah Simon, and I will be presenting our Code Current automated testing solution to you on behalf of Resolve Red. I will be highlighting the benefit of our testing solution, which includes augmenting the embedded orchestration framework to easily manage, execute, and evaluate the testing process when new changes are applied to the system each and every time. Embedded pre-developed reusable best practice test scenarios that are continuously maintained and aligned to the JD Edwards tool and orchestration enhancements and changes. Ease of creating test scenarios by simply copying baseline tests, resulting in the reusability of test data. It also allows for wall-to-wall testing, specific process testing, and unit testing with a focus on exceptions for further verification. Robust exception reporting with immediate auditable results. Therefore, by implementing our automated testing solution, we can guarantee you of reduction in business disruption, cost, and timelines related to application testing, and the elimination of test fatigue, human error, and omissions, the assurance of complete testing, and at the end of the process, you can apply the changes with confidence. In order to show this to you, my demonstration will focus on the JD accounts receivable invoice to receipt process. This is not a complicated process, but it will take a significant amount of time to manually test if users were to capture each transaction themselves. What usually complicates user testing and slows the process down is segregation of duties and security differences between users, and they have to test different transactions in the process as they do not have full access to all the applications. Another is consolidating all the correct testing data for a successful result, manually updating test scripts with the testing results as they go along. If we have a look at the process flow, it starts with invoice entry, batch approval, and then posting the IB batch to the general ledger. The speed status change, our receipt entry, batch approval again, and posting the RB batch to the general ledger. Usually, all of these need to be documented onto manual test scripts, but with our automated testing solution, we will have a comparison report to show you all the different tables and their comparisons along the way. I have now crossed over to JD Edwards and will be taking you through the automated testing console. Our automated testing solution for this process requires no time from business resources and can be completed immediately. The versatility of our automated testing solution lies within our testing console, which is the workbench to execute the orchestrations. The objective of the console is to have a baseline test run before ESUs are applied, and then a comparison of testing results after the ESUs are applied. These testing results are compared to the baseline test and are documented in an auditable report and is always available in the console and also as a PDF for sign-off. What I'll be showing you are the key elements of our console and the flexibility it gives your business to make sure you test each process and sub-process and your different processing scenarios, each and every time supporting reusability. The great advantage of the console is it is one view for all of your processes, which may be simple within one module or more complex processes, which flow from one module to the next. The console is a data input into your testing scenarios and output of your testing results. So this is where your company relevant data is uploaded, captured, and updated for testing. Let's have a look and see how it works. Within our test process pillar, we have add a new test process, which I won't be doing due to time constraints for this demo. We have edit of our test process. This is where you go to change your overall process test header. The detail of the test process. This is where your applications are set up to reflect your company's versions relevant to a process being tested. Moreover, this is also where you can stop, start, or select which process will be tested. Now that we've seen the backbone of our testing scenarios, let's go have a look at the detail. Within our test data pillar, adding our test data. The test grid allows for copy and paste functionality as well as data upload functionality. This is the data that is relevant to your JD Edwards instance. For example, your relevant company numbers, business units, and account numbers, etc. Firstly, the baseline test is created. As you can see here, this test will be run before the ESUs or code current updates are installed. The baseline test shows testing results and are housed within the database. Once the ESUs are installed, then you would run your testing scenarios with the same data to yield the same results. Therefore, you can draw a direct comparison and conclusive results if the test was successful before ESU install to post ESU install. The editing of test data would be editing or changing the test data that is already input. Submitting test data. This is where you would submit your test. The baseline test is simply run by clicking Submit Test button. And we'll have a look here at the description for the output. It just takes seconds to complete. Once this is run, we simply click on a form and replicate baseline, and a new test is generated for you to run after the ESUs are installed. Tests can be run over and over again, and the results generated on a report. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to simulate a failure to show that the report highlights exceptions. I'm going to run a baseline test for the scenario with VAT, which I had done, and then run a test for the same customer where the VAT code on the customer master will not be picked up, and therefore VAT will not be processed. Once we've run our test and our baseline test, if we go back into the test data, you will be able to see that we will have attachments. Attachments for the baseline and attachments for the actual test. It will show our post reports and also our validation reports, and these can be downloaded at any time. And similarly, they'll also be in your submitted jobs. If we have a look at the actual test results, this post report is for our baseline test. Our baseline test was run with VAT. This is our invoice number here. Then the receipt batch was run. The next report is our actual test, and this had no VAT. And then the receipt batch, also that posted OK. I'd like to draw your attention to our actual validation report. Our validation reports run over every single table which would be updated within the process. And it shows you which testing process this is for. And in this column, we've got the baseline data compared to the test data. Every single field is compared, and you'll be able to see the validation of each field. Obviously, the document number and the batch number here, which are showing as a failure, is just showing that there's a difference. I'd like to highlight to you, here it's showing us the problem with the VAT. And this report runs over every single field within this table. And at the end of each report, you will have a sign-off sheet for successful tests. The next report is our FO911, our general ledger. This would be the post for our actual invoice, and will show you any differences. And therefore, I'd like to highlight to you our amounts once again. And similarly, what you're going to see at the very end is our VAT line is missing. Therefore, it's showing a failure. And as mentioned, there's always a sign-off sheet at the end. So the other tables which are also compared in this process would be our receipts header, our receipts detail, and our FNI11 again as the actual post for our receipts. We go back into JDE now after running our validation reports, and we've realized that there could be a discrepancy with our data. Let's have a look at our address book and our customer master, and perhaps it's our VAT code there that is causing a problem. Yes, there we go. Let's add back our VAT. And what we're going to simply do now is go back to the console and rerun another test. So we've got our test here. We click on Submit Test. What we do then is we replicate our baseline data as we have it there, and we click on Submit Test. Now that we've processed our next test with VAT, let's go have a look at the attachments. All reports which are run within the process will be stored here. And what we are most interested in is our VAT, if our VAT has been processed on our reports. We can see here on our accounts receivable invoice, we do have VAT. Let's have a look at our validation report now. If we have a look at our FO3B11, our customer ledger, let's have a look at our VAT and see if this passed. There we go, VAT has been processed. If we have a look at our FO911 again, let's just make sure. I'm going to go to the last page just to check. Right, we do have all the correct transactions processed here. In essence, our automated testing solution, which incorporates a console, provides a quick and easy solution to create and reuse test scenarios, minimizing business disruption, time to test, reduction of errors, and giving an immediate auditable report.